are back with another episode of Against the Insanity. Coming up on today's show, Bud Light once again back in the news. You're going to love this one. John Deere versus the farmers. Actually, some good news coming out of that front. The right to repair on their equipment, which is looking good. And we've got menopausal comic book heroes from members of The View. Oh, you are going to love this one. What's going on, Ricky?
Oh, not a whole lot. Couple things. So over the weekend, the show's coming out late. It is Tuesday today. My fiance's graduation was on Sunday, so we're bringing out the show a little late this week. But also wanted to talk about Diablo 4. So you're going to be able to preload the beta for the server smash, they're deeming it, for this weekend. It is Friday the 12th through the 14th. So Jason and I and Nick, we're going to be playing that shit probably all weekend.
Yeah, it's definitely free to play. So if you are definitely, not everybody that listens to the show may be fans of gaming, but it is free. You can just download it via the Battle.net launcher. If you've played any Blizzard games in the past, it should go live and you'll be able to download it starting tomorrow to preload it if you'd like. Well, dude, fucking busy ass fucking weekend. So we ended up, we finalized our van purchase over the weekend. So we finally are now the proud owners of a 2021 Ram Van 2500 ProMaster. So that is the van we are going to be using to build out our van life.
Pro Smasher.
Hell yeah. Fix that suspension.
Nice. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, dude. That freaking, the inside of that, I sent you how it's going to look after it's done. It goes in for the work July 1st. So they're quoting us about 45 days, the builder is, to build everything out like it is. But dude, it's got like a shower that comes up out of the floor. Man, it's fucking nice. I can't wait till this shit gets done, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I was shopping around today to get insurance for it, and apparently Progressive, because it's technically considered a commercial vehicle, won't insure me to use it as like a leisure vehicle.
Oh,
but I found some other quotes though, some other companies that will insure it. So it's just as to who gets back to me sooner here, I guess. I'm pretty excited, dude. I can't wait to fucking take it. It was weird driving it home for the first time on Saturday because it's so fucking. I mean, it's like my truck. And it can't be any worse than when I drove the 26-foot U-Haul across the country, But it definitely does take some getting used to.
Right.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited, man. So our first story, I kind of want to go into this. This is actually a story from Fox News. I kind of want to elaborate on this, but Clay Travis, free beer experiment shows people don't want to be seen with Bud Light. So Outkick founder Clay Travis conducted an experiment over the weekend where he offered various cans of free beer at a concert, concluding that drinking Bud Light is now taboo in public. Travis posted several videos of his cooler throughout the night as a weekend experiment at a concert in the Nashville area. The experiment allowed those who passed to pick which beer you want. No one would take a Bud Light all night long. Big issue going forward, Bud Light is that many don't want to be seen with the product. Just pick another brand, he said.
That's funny. Well, I find it funny, too, because I was sharing this with you guys earlier this week, but Bud Light made commercials in the 90s about, like, men, dressing up as women.
For ladies' night.
For ladies' night, and, like, they're playing, like, pool, and, like, the men dressed up as women are kicking the women's asses and, getting free Bud Lights. And it's the complete opposite, the Dylan Mulvaney thing. It's complete opposite of that. Like, they're showing in the ads how, like, men dressed up as women are kicking women's ass and, like, pool. And it's like, dude, there's a bunch of commercials. There was like 3 different ones that I sent you and Nick. And I find it funny, back. And I mean, think about it. This was in the 90s. It really isn't all that long ago.
No, and it was a funny commercial too. Like, to be honest, like, it was a fucking funny ass commercial. Yeah. And the reason I threw this story in here too is not only is the right boycotting fucking Bud Light, but now you've got calls from like a lot of lefty bars, a lot of them from like the Chicago area and stuff, are also boycotting Bud Light now because they refuse to back Dylan Mulvaney in all this bullshit. Right. So not only are they being boycotted by the right, now the left is calling to boycott Bud Light. They can't fucking win.
Yeah, it's not looking good for Bud Light whatsoever. It was a big mistake to do what they did, and they're paying for it. I mean, left and right.
As they should, and they still, they still haven't fucking necessarily completely apologized either. They're blaming everybody because now they're going through and they're panicking. They're firing people, like everybody from their marketing department. They even fired like a third-party ad agency that they were using. And now you've also got the CEO just fucking playing the blame game and blaming everyone else and not taking responsibility for overseeing his company. Like, dude, overall, this is your fucking company. How did you not know that this shit was coming down the pipe?
Right.
Like, you should be involved in those day-to-day operations. I mean, obviously, you're not into everything at being the CEO. You can't. You've got bigger things to worry about. But in the same token, like, when this shit blows up, like, it cost you fucking millions of dollars at this point. Maybe even billion. I don't, you know what I mean? I don't know terms of all the fucking money. It really affected his company. So where the fuck were you when all this shit was going on? That's the question I have.
And you see it like, online and everything, you go to a beer distributor and dude, there is a shitload of Bud Light just sitting.
Oh yeah. Every time I'm out now, I look
Right.
to see like how stocked the Bud Light is. Like, if I'm going through like one of the local grocery stores or something, I'm always curious. I have to look.
Right. Yeah.
And keeping lockstep here, we've got a story that has kind of been going on for a while. Sometimes people have followed it, sometimes people have not. But John Deere Corporate might actually have a reason to panic, but farmers will love what's happening. So if you haven't followed this story, so farmers for a long time have been battling with manufacturers, mainly John Deere, for the right to actually repair their products. But major companies in the space, including John Deere, began restricting products to manufacturer exclusive service contracts. These contracts lock out the farmers who own tractors, for instance, from even making small repairs to their machines. Kind of sounds like Apple. Yeah. Instead, when something breaks down, farmers have to then call the manufacturer or dealer to schedule a repairman to come out and service the device, forcing the farmer to shut down his operations while waiting for a repairman to come to the farm. This is obviously a serious problem for farmers who are under strict time restrictions during planting and harvesting seasons. You don't have that time to wait. I mean, when it comes down to it, like, you have to get done. And it sounds like the state of Colorado has become the first to give farmers the legal right to repair their equipment without being forced to pay manufacturers' repair teams. That law was passed on Tuesday. The legislation advanced through the longtime committee hearings have been propelled forward mostly by Democrats, even though a Republican lawmaker co-sponsored the bill. Ooh, that's cool. The proposal left some the ability to repair their equipment and the manufacturers who vehemently opposed it, the AP added. For their part, companies such as John Deere say that farming equipment is now so highly technical and computer-driven that repairs are often beyond the skill of barn tinkerers. That's kind of a slap in the face. Like, oh, you're an idiot. You don't know how to fix this stuff.
Right. Car manufacturers doing the same shit. There's a lot of cars anymore where you have to take it in for service. Not to name drop any particular manufacturer, but there's a few. But I also wonder too, like, what is driving this? Does it have to do with the fact that everything going on right now, employees just not working for John Deere, were there layoffs? Like, what's going on? Or are people having issues with getting techs out to fix the equipment? And they're like, okay, we got to let these guys fix their own shit because we just can't send all our techs out because we don't have any? Or like,
no, some of the stuff to kind of, to elaborate on your question there. So they think, it's quote here in the article, forcing a business to disclose trade secrets, software, and jeopardize consumer safety is poor public policy. So basically, they're basically trying to pull an Apple where they don't want people to know like what's going on in their products. And they basically feel like, and this I thought was weird because a couple of years ago, right before the pandemic hit, I was out at CES and John Deere was actually there because they consider themselves like a highly technical tractor now. And they're
right.
I heard overheard from what I remember, the salesman talking about how many, something about plants or how many you can do in like an hour or something like that. I forget. It's been so long now since I remember the conversation, but I thought it was odd that John Deere was at CES. Like it was interesting to see them there in terms of, I'm like, they're mainly farm equipment. You're kind of preaching to the wrong people. Shouldn't you be at like a farm show or something kind of disclosing this and what it does? But yeah, it was really weird. They were at CES and there's a giant ass fucking tractor in the middle of all these like tech booths. It was interesting. It was cool.
Yeah, that is weird.
But I think, like I said, I mean, they basically want to have control over all the. It's like I said, it's a whole Apple deal. They want to have control over the product when it leaves their when you purchase it. Then you have to go to a licensed fucking Apple dealer to get your shit fixed. You know what I mean? They have to be the ones to fix it. It's just it's annoying. Yeah. Whereas, a lot of other farm manufacturers, if you can fix the fucking product, then fix it. Farmers and stuff like that got only so much time to get this stuff done.
Right.
And get everything planted or plowed to get ready for planting. So why the fuck should you have to wait? Because like you said too, if there are low on fucking repair people, then you're waiting even longer.
Right.
So that's like twice as long. So it could be too that they just don't have enough people to fix the shit too. And farmers are just sick of waiting. And I don't blame them. That's like with computers. I don't want to wait. If I can fix something without having to take the fucking iMac into Apple or something like that, I'd really like to. But unfortunately, these things are so fucking hard to work on.
Right.
It's not like our PCs.
Yeah. I was just wondering, is it a factor of instead of farmers replacing their equipment, going to another manufacturer, they'll just allow the ability for you to repair it yourself. That way you can still have their product. Might have played a factor in it or not.
Yeah, it sounds like they claim that, it's high tech and it's not just for your average person to fix anymore. Because, it sounds like there's a lot of technology involved in, the John Deere. I didn't get up into the cabin because they were letting people climb into the cabin of the tractor and stuff like that. And you can see like a giant fucking computer screen in there now and stuff like that. So I'm sure there's a lot going on. It's not like tractors of the old.
Right.
So it was interesting. I figured I'd throw that in there, but that's a big win because I know that they've been going through this for a while with John Deere. John Deere has been like that. And, I talked to a lot of people and asked them, I'm like, why don't, I always thought like growing up, oh yeah, you got to get a John Deere because, the commercials and shit. But actually talking to people like Travis that grew up in Graz, we always used to go to his campfires and stuff. He's like, yeah, John Deere tractors suck. and this is what he was talking about, basically. He's like, you can't fix them and shit.
Yeah, that sucks.
So yeah, I get the down low from the people who actually use the shit. I saved this one for last because it just makes me want to fucking slap myself in the fucking head. But Whoopi Goldberg from The View is going to release a comic book featuring a menopausal superhero.
Jesus Christ.
And it's made by Dark Horse Comics of all.
Are you serious?
Yeah, no, they're publishing it.
Oh, what?
Yep. On Tuesday, Dark Horse Comics announced via press release that it has been working with Goldberg on an upcoming graphic novel featuring a menopausal superhero called The Change.
Oh, my God.
This is why comic books are dying.
Yeah. What kind of change? What the fuck? I gotta see this shit.
It's the change of life, Ricky, when you get dry up.
I guess. Did they show like any artwork or anything of the comic? I'm just curious.
No, I mean, it basically, I scrolled down the article and it would have been nice to actually see a cover or something like that, but no, I don't see anything.
Yeah, they should rename this fucking comic Dumpster Fire. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. It's funny because Bounding Into Comics writer John Del Arez joked that the comic is aimed at the wine ant demographic as increased political comic book industry continues its death spiral. He slammed the protagonist Isabel Frost as a self-insert character of Whoopi, specifying to readers that the book is billed as a serious book and not a parody, with a heroic Whoopi portrayed on the cover with blue and purple energy rising from her hand like a flame.
Jesus fucking Christ. Train wreck.
Well, I mean, comic books are literally, all the major, like Marvel, DC, all those comic books with all the woke ideology and stuff that they've been pushing on people have been in the shits. Got like the gay son of Superman and shit like that they tried to push on people. That didn't work. No. People are just tired of it. And like, I used to like comics as a kid, and like, I kind of got out of that a long time ago. But in the same token, I would never go back now at this point. I would never open another comic book in my life with all these fucking comic books and stuff because they're all shit at this point.
Yeah. I mean, the older shit was good, but yeah, I mean, this newer stuff coming out, there's no way.
I have zero faith. Yeah.
And they're all failing. Like, I don't understand, too, like, they've been doing this for a number of years at this point. It's one fail after another, and they keep trying to do the same shit. Like, what's it going to take for them to realize, okay, this isn't working? And people don't agree with this bullshit.
Well, this is definitely something different. A menopausal comic book here. I mean, here you go, Ricky. This is different. This might be right up your alley.
No, fuck that. I'm good.
I mean, it's probably based off of everyone at the fucking View. They're all probably fucking going through menopause at this point. Fucking bunch of old fucking crows.
I can't stand her when she talks either, man. Jesus Christ. Sometimes it's worse than watching
anybody on the View, dude. Anytime they open up their fucking mouth. Thank God I never watch it, but I always end up, getting stuck watching all the clips that everybody else posts because it's good for people's show content. This, like I said, here we are covering a fucking comic book that we'll be releasing because it's gold. It never disappoints. It's always this fucking whacked out bullshit.
Definitely buying that shit.
Yeah, I won't be buying it either. That's going to be a hard pass for me, bro. I'll stick to Diablo coming out here in another month.
One thing I wanted to bring up, last episode we talked about the Tucker Carlson and what kind of Fox said about the situation, and we said we wanted to talk about Tucker's point of view. Nothing has come up on Tucker's end. We want to give it maybe another week or two. Maybe next week we'll cover that topic again, but there just hasn't been enough come out about it for us to kind of talk about Tucker Carlson's situation. So hopefully next week there'll be more and we can go over that again like we mentioned last week.
Yeah, definitely. Like, dude, the only thing I'll leave you with is it's weird. Something came out towards the end of the week that there is an investigation from Fox News into Dominion, who possibly released those Tucker Carlson text messages. And the rumor is, well, I shouldn't say the rumor, but they're saying that it could possibly void the $750 million settlement that Fox had to pay if Dominion indeed did release these text messages. So I think it's going to get pretty interesting here in the next couple of weeks. So you definitely kind of want to pay attention, and it'll be interesting to see what Tucker does decide to do, if he does his own show or if he signs with another network, which I doubt. I think he's pretty much bigger than that at this point. But yeah, definitely stay tuned because we definitely want to cover this as it transpires. And with that, just kind of want to put it out there that you can find our show if you are coming across it for the first time on Rumble and YouTube. We do have a PayPal that we'd like to eventually start taking donations for the show. If you're interested in donating, you can find us at againsttheinsanity247@gmail.com PayPal. If we'd eventually like to make this into like a weekly, almost daily show, we could, one step at a time. But if you have any feedback for us, hit us up on YouTube or Rumble in the comments section. If you got any other feedback, you could always just send us to the email that I gave for PayPal as well. But we're interested in hearing from you. If you do hear the show for the first time, you come across it, any kind of feedback would be great. Kind of new to this here too. We've been doing it for a while off and on in different podcasts, but it wasn't until the last year where we recently wanted to do more moving forward. But yeah, that's all I have, and until next time, we'll catch you next week. Adios,
mofos.